Khamzat Chimaev will never fight again. That's what it feels like. I mean, the guy has only fought once in over a year. What is the UFC doing to Khamzat Chimaev, a guy that's in the prime of his career? He's ready to roll. He's ready to win titles, but he's just waiting on the UFC. We got this topic and some predictions next.
Broadcasting live from an undisclosed location. This is The Community MMA with your host, Chris Cross.
Whoa!
Dana White privilege.
And news.
Khamzat Chimaev. Khamzat Chimaev.
And
Khamzat Chimaev. Khamzat Chimaev. Khamzat Chimaev.
Man, what a long way home it was from work today. You know, I'm headed home. I'm ready for the podcast. I know exactly what I want to talk about. I want to talk about Khamzat Chimaev and why he's not fighting and what has taken so long. And then I'm sitting in construction work. You know, there's construction work going on. You're on the way home from work. It's 5 o'clock traffic. And you're sitting there PO'd. And the first thing that goes through your mind is like, why are they doing this construction work where 3 roads all meet in one at 5 o'clock? Why are they not doing this from like 9 to like 6 in the morning when nobody's on the roads? So it took an extra hour to get home from work tonight. Yeah, I work. I got a job. At least until this thing gets big. As long as y'all keep listening, we're headed that way. But for right now, I'm sitting in line and, you know, waiting. 10 cars go at a time, and there's like 2,000 cars in line. And I'm just getting pissed the whole time I'm waiting in line. And then I start to think, you know what? Like, this is exactly what Khamzat Chimaev is going through. He's sitting in construction, waiting in line for someone to fight him, and nobody wants to fight him. Robert Whittaker saying, I only fight top 5 guys, in so many words. Which we might as well get to that right now. Whittaker said, he's not in the division rankings. I'm not a huge fan of guys just sliding in and fighting wherever they want. Yeah, it's a different place. The rankings are there for a reason. I like fighting top 5 guys. That's just where I'm at. I like fighting top 5 guys because they're the best of the best. And again, so Khamzat's just waiting for the construction ahead of him to get done, or to at least be able to slide on through, waiting for someone to fight him. He's fought a top 5 guy, 2 or 3 at the time in Burns, beat him, and he still doesn't get a title fight. He still doesn't get a title fight. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. So instead, this guy has just got to sit around and wait for someone to take him on. And it seems as though it's just never going to happen. I mean, he fought one time since April 9th of last year. It's now April 18th. Over a year, he's fought one time. After beating a top 5 guy, he's fought once. So now what you're telling Khamzat is, okay, go ahead and fight a top 5 middleweight, and then you'll be out another year. And then maybe you'll fight a number 1, which Colby wouldn't fight him. So now he's got to go to middleweight. And then the Robert Whittakers of the world won't fight him. So that's why he's calling out champions. And it's 100% frustrating. I mean, it's absolutely frustrating. Because there's a lot of people out there like myself that believe he's the future champ, should already be the champ. If he got a championship fight, he would be crowned the champion right now. Right now. That's what you would be hearing. Khamzat Chimaev is the new welterweight or middleweight champion.
Khamzat Chimaev.
It's undeniable. I don't care that he struggled against Burns. That means nothing to me. He fought this time last year. What was it? Ramadan. And yeah, we went into all that and everything. So it's a year later, and now he says, this year I'm not doing that. I'm not fighting during Ramadan. It'll be over April 22nd. We're like right there. It's just about, I think it's this Friday or Saturday, it's over. And then he's, a little bit of training time, he's ready to roll. But nobody will fight him. You got Kosa talking a big game, and that's a possibility because Kosa just signed a contract. So it's, say you got a 5-6 fight contract, it's the first fight. They're going to forget about that 5 or 6 fights from now. It's probably the best contract of your life. The next one isn't going to be so generous. It'll just be because maybe you went 4-2 and you're still lingering around, and we're going to give you another 3 or 4, but it's not going to be as much money as this one. So he doesn't really have anything to lose right now. So that could be a possibility, but I don't think Paulo Costa does anything for Khamzat. I mean, fighting Paulo Costa literally does nothing for Khamzat. Absolutely nothing. Nothing. Because he's going to be in the same position he was when he beat Gilbert Burns. And this has got people highly upset. Highly upset. Because even if he beats him, you're like in the same position as Burns. When you beat Burns, you're number 3, maybe number 5. And then the 1, 2, 3, 4, whoever's ahead of you don't want to fight you. And the champion's saying you need another win. If I'm Adesanya, I'm just go ahead and fight him and shut it down, and then that's it. There's nobody else. Who are they going to put up there? Dricus, Duplessis? No. If the UFC really wants to make this happen, they could tell Adesanya, you beat Khamzat, you get the light heavyweight title shot right away. No matter if Yuri's back, whatever it is, you're next. We can always hold Yuri off. Yuri Prochazka, that is. Let him recover a little longer. Take a good 1.5 years before you come back. And do it like that if they really wanted to. If they really wanted to. I mean, that's solely up to the president.
Dana White privilege.
He knows how to negotiate. He can get the job done.
Dana White privilege.
If he really wants to. But I don't know that he wants to. So you got that going on. Now, this Saturday night, you got some big fights going on. For real, for real. Bobby Green is back in Fight 4. Mean Bobby Green. I can't wait to see him fight. Coming off the loss to Islam, we'll see what he can do. Let's get to that prediction right now. In the lightweight division at UFC Fight Night, you got Bobby Green coming in at 29-14, believe it or not. Taking on Jared Gordon, who comes in at 19-6. Bobby Green 1 inch taller, 5'10". He's now 36 years old. Jared Gordon 34. So both guys have sort of turned that corner. Bobby Green, 3-inch reach advantage. They both fight right-handed. Bobby Green lands 6 significant strikes per minute. He's very active. Jared Gordon, 5.4, not bad, very close. Jared Gordon lands about 2 takedowns over the course of 3 rounds. Bobby Green gets like a takedown every other round. So these guys can land takedowns. Now Bobby Green, 72% takedown defense. So that's not bad. It should stifle Jared Gordon a little bit, but look for Jared Gordon to really go for takedowns in this fight. Bobby Green's coming off back-to-back losses to Islam Makhachev, KO. Drew Dauber, KO. Before that, he beat Nasrat Haqparast and Al Iaquinta, which is a big win at that time. He also lost to Rafael Fiziev and Thiago Moises. So he's lost to some quality competition. Now, Jared Gordon, a.k.a. Flash, 61% takedown defense. That's okay, but not great. So the takedown game is kind of even between these two. When you factor in, takedown average as well as takedown defense, it's kind of even. Gordon's come up the loss to Paddy Pimblett. He beat Leonardo Santos, so he's 1-1 in his last 2. Prior to that, he lost to Grant Dawson and beat Joe Solecki, Danny Chavez, and Chris Fishgold. So, this is a really interesting fight, but Bobby Green has had some top-notch competition in Drew Dober and Islam Makhachev. Jared Gordon's a step down from that. So I fully expect Bobby Green to come in here and take care of business. I love to see him get the KO finish, but that remains to be seen. Regardless, Bobby Green wins this fight on significant strikes and takedown defense. Remember, above 70%, above average. So he's going to stop the takedowns from Gordon to get the win here, hopefully get the knockout, and get his 30th professional MMA win. He'll move to 30-14-1 here in the lightweight division, UFC Fight Night. Yeah, so I mean, listen, Bobby Green can fight. Bobby Green can fight. But defending the takedowns, which he's good at, but if he goes to the ground, it could be trouble against a good grappler. And now we saw that with Islam Makhachev, but he's going to do that to 90% of fighters. So, but that's the key in this fight. If Jared Gordon tries to take him down, he's got to be able to defend. If he does, he gets a win, and he might even get an impressive win. We'll see. Another big guy, big name on the card, Brad Tavares, walks in the octagon in Fight 3 this Saturday night. In the middleweight division at UFC Fight Night, you got Brad Tavares coming at 19-8, taking on Bruno Silva, who comes in at 22-8. Tavares 1 inch taller at 6'1". Reach exactly the same, 74 inches apiece. They both stand right-handed. Silva's a little more active, about 4.3 significant strikes per minute to 3.3, so that's like 1 per minute over the course of 15 minutes. You're looking at a 15 significant strike advantage for Bruno Silva if these stats hold up. When you look at the takedown game, neither guy landing 1 on average over 3 rounds, so it shouldn't be a big deal in this fight. We're going to get a stand-up striking fight unless it does go to the ground. They are capable of going to the ground, but they would rather stand up in the strike. Reason being, Tavares 80% takedown defense, Silva 71%. Both guys above average, so this thing is going to be on the feet most of the time. Now, Tavares lost to Dricus du Plessis by decision. It's a good sign that he went to a decision with du Plessis. He got the win over Amari Akhmadal by split decision and Antonio Carlos Jr. by decision. So, he's trending upward over the last 3 to 4 fights for sure. Now, Silva's always a tough competitor. Remember, he lost to Alex Pereira 2 fights ago, but really made him work and took him down twice. Pereira was in a little bit of trouble in that fight, but he also lost to Gerald Meerschaert by submission. Before that, he beat Jordan Wright, Andrew Sanchez, and Wellington Turman. 3 fights in a row coming into the UFC, all 3 by KO. But the thing with Tavares is he's got a long career, right? In his last 3 losses, he lost to du Plessis, Shabazian, and Adesanya. Other than, if he didn't, he lost those 3, but he could potentially be on a 9-fight win streak right now. He's 6-3 over the last 9. And that's because when he gets to the top, he faces a big-time opponent and he falls. So this fight is very tough to predict because for Tavares, it's right in between those wins and losses. Silva's not as good as the fights Tavares lost, but Silva's way better than the fights that he's won. So it's going to be very, very interesting here. But when you have a fight this close, I tend to lean with the stats. And when you see 4.3 significant strikes per minute, 1 more for Silva per minute, I got to go with him, especially when, both guys got great takedown defense. So I like Silva to outstrike Tavares here, be more active, get the win, in my opinion, and move to 23-8, middleweight division, UFC Fight Night. Oh, and I'm glad I read the news, breaking news. This is now the co-main event. Ricky Simon, what was it, Song Yadong, co-main event, canceled. Breaking news. I'm glad I looked at the news while that clip was playing, or else I would have played the Yadong prediction for no reason. But yeah, that's going to be an interesting co-main event and very tough one to predict, as you saw there. It's going to be a great fight. So I'm not mad that it's the co-main, even though Song Yadong and his opponent was going to be a great fight. I mean, people were already going back and forth on that, but that fight is canceled, ladies and gentlemen. And what that means is your main event, well, co-main, right? But now your main event is Sergey Pavlovich versus Curtis Blades. This is a big 3 versus 4 matchup in the heavyweight division. John Jones at the top, Cyril Gane, Stipe Miocic, who's likely to fight John Jones, which seems like an easy win for Jones, easy payday. Let's get that contract moving, right? If you're John Jones. Then you got Pavlovich versus Blades. And if Sergey wins this fight, I would argue that he should get the title shot. maybe that's what John Jones is trying to avoid, right? If you're the champ, you could really play this for a year. You can make Pavlovich wait a year. I say hold off on the Miocic fight. Let's look at what Pavlovich and Blades do here. If Blades wins, no, he doesn't get it. If Pavlovich wins, with the momentum he's got right now, and he ran through Derek Lewis, who beat Curtis Blades, but this is a whole different stylistic matchup, because if Pavlovich can't defend the takedowns, it could be a long night. So maybe that gives you a little insight to our prediction, maybe not. Check this out. In the heavyweight division at UFC Fight Night, you got Sergey Pavlovich, the number 3 contender in the heavyweight division, taking on number 4, Curtis Blades. So this is a high-level matchup. Your main event at UFC Vegas 71. Now Blades, 1 inch taller at 6'4". Pavlovich 30, Blades 32. Age shouldn't be a problem. Pavlovich, 4-inch reach advantage, 84 versus 80. He's a left-hander. Southpaw. Blades stands right-handed. Now Pavlovich is very active, over 8 significant strikes per minute. Blades about 3.5 per minute, but the takedown game goes to Blades, and this will be the interesting part of this fight. He lands about 2 takedowns per round, which is hard to believe. Now, when you look at Pavlovich takedown defense, 66%, it's about average, but Blades is superior in this department. Sergey's went on a 5-fight win streak, beating Tai Tuivasa by KO, Derek Lewis KO, Abdurakhimov KO, Maurice Green KO, Marcelo Gome KO. His last loss was to Alistair Overeem, but that was 4 or 5 years ago, so you'd expect him to lose that fight when Overeem was sort of at his height, or at least coming down from it at that time. Now Curtis Blades, aka Razor Blades, 33% takedown defense. That's not great, but it shouldn't matter. Coming off the KO win over Tom Aspinall, slowed him down. Chris Daukaus, KO win. Rosenstrike, decision. His last loss was to Derek Lewis by KO, and he just got caught, really. Before that, he won 4 in a row against Volkov. Junior Dos Santos, Shamil Abdurakhimov, and Justin Willis. He could very easily be on an 8-fight win streak right now, with the only loss to Francis Ngannou if he would have beat Derek Lewis. So this guy is for real. It's going to be an interesting fight. And, a lot of these fights, he's not in the octagon very long at all, especially when he's getting KOs. That's why his takedown average is so strong. I mean, he had 14 takedowns against Volkov. But Volkov was a tall fighter. Pavlovich, not so much. Pavlovich is going to have to defend the takedowns. And I'll tell you, I'm having a tough time with this one, because these guys are both really good. 17-01 versus 17-3. And I like to say Curtis Blades is going to win, but I just can't. I can't go against Pavlovich right now. This guy's climbing too quick. I might pay for this prediction later, but I'm going to lean with Pavlovich. Hopefully he can get the striking game going by keeping the takedowns at bay. If he gets taken down more than once or twice in his fight, he's probably going to lose. So I got to bank on the fact that he's going to defend these takedowns, and he's going to outstrike Curtis Blades, which he does to almost every opponent. But Curtis Blades can really silence him with those takedowns. So we'll have to wait and see. But I like Pavlovich to win by KO to move to 18-1 in the heavyweight division at UFC Fight Night. Boy, that's a tough prediction. That's a tough one. But we're 9-3 on the year right now. 12 main events done. About, a quarter of the way through, maybe a third the way through of the year. Not quite a third. It'll be like 44 fights. 43, 44 in the year. But 10-3 sounds better than 9-4. And we need Pavlovich to come through. He's got to defend the takedowns. I mean, he's just got to defend the takedowns. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now we head into the Q&A. Oh boy. Buckle your seatbelts. Sasay says, who do you got if Khamzat fought Izzy? Oh, it's not even a question. I'm going with Khamzat. Easy. First round. Has Malari. Stinks, man. Khamzat delay his title fight. Yeah. Everybody expects him to fight for the title. I feel you. I'm the same way. I just expect him to fight for the title. Kenneth Bruner, long paragraph. I don't want to dislike the UFC, but they ain't making it easy. This is all in the UFC. But Khamzat is a case study of what not to do if you're an organization. The fighter saying doesn't deserve, hasn't fought anybody, just gives cover to the decision makers, the UFC management. Inmates running the asylum. On the bright side, Ikram Aliskerov fights on an earlier prelim against Phil Hawes on UFC 288. Middleweight is getting gutted and renovated over the next year. Thank God. So that's Bruner with a long paragraph there weighing in. And, that is a talk that he's not fighting anybody. He doesn't deserve it. Blase, blase, blase. But that's what they got to say. What else? What are they going to say? Bring it on. They don't want that. Samson. Izzy scared Khamzat. Even Izzy fans started ducking Khamzat. Says Khamzat doesn't deserve blah, blah. No doubt. Malari's back. If Khamzat fights Costa, dominates him. Ooh, middleweight division scared. So you see, I'm not the only one. Amir Lone. They knew they would not win that way. Why they talk only? Khamzat will be champ. Black Diamond 2000. 2K. The UFC is really really pissing me off. The need to capitalize Khamzat's talents when he is in his prime. As a big fan, I just want to see him fight. I know it. Zhang Victor talking about Song Yadong Ricky Simon was canceled, but they said you're delusional. Let's see. I had Ricky Simon winning, but we might never know. Marlowe, 5 more seconds delay from the referee would have ended Pereira. Yeah, Izzy really finished him, man. Izzy wasn't playing. Izzy was not playing in that fight. That's why he won. So listen, it's been a good show, man. Stuck in construction on the way home. I'm never getting home. And Khamzat's thinking, I'm never going to fight again. And the fans are thinking, will he ever fight again? It's scary. It's like Khamzat will never fight again. That's what it feels like right now. It's wild. But listen, that'll do it. I made it home. Khamzat will fight again. He's got to keep the hope. Here's your boy Chris Cross. Have a great day and God bless. Peace.